What is up, you guys? Yo, yo, it's Maggie, and I'm here to talk to you guys about something that I think a lot of us want to be able to do a little bit more of, which is how do we cultivate our intuition? How do we learn how to listen to our own inner voice? It was sometimes it's hard to do, especially in the world that we live in. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has, a definition of success and expectations. And the important thing to understand is your inner voice and your intuition know what's best for you, right? For you, not for your neighbor Susie, not for your brother, not for your best friend Cynthia, right? It's for you. So how do we learn how to cultivate our intuition and learn to listen to our own inner voice so we can live more aligned with the person that we want to be, right? And when I started thinking about this, because I've really strengthened my intuition over the years, and it's gotten a lot stronger, it's gotten a lot louder, a lot clearer. And I asked myself, how did I do that? And I can think back very vividly to the first time that I was very intentional about listening to my intuition, and it was, gosh, it was probably just after college, and I had moved back in with my parents. I was trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do with my life. What did I want? What was I going to do? I had some money saved up, and I was just trying to figure out like where do I go from here, right? I was in a job that I wasn't really satisfied in, and I remember this was like pre-COVID, before like the online world and having a business online was like a big thing. And I remember I don't know how I found her, but there was this Australian chick, and she was running around. She had all this energy and talking about how she could help people figure out, what it is they wanted to do, and basically build a business. And she was just super spunky, had a lot of energy, would run around yelling "kapow," and it was Liz Benny, if any of you guys have heard of her. And I remember just loving that. I loved her energy, and I thought, okay, well, I could start a business. Like, I want to do that. I want to be able to, have a plan, execute that plan, make some money, be successful, have a mentor, right? And but deeper than that, I was looking for clarity, right? I was trying to figure out what's my purpose, how do I help people, and to prove to myself that I could do great things, And so I remember hopping on this call with Liz and her partner, and we're having a conversation. I'm amped. They got me hyped. I'm like, yes, this is it. This is the answer. Like, they're gonna help me out. Here's my credit card. But I remember as I was going to hand over my card, I remember saying to them, I'm terrified, And I'm so grateful that they weren't just like some money grubby, take advantage of you kind of people. They were like terrified. And I was like, yeah, like this is my life savings. I've never done anything like this before. It's just crazy. Like, I'm terrified. And they were like, terrified's a pretty strong word. Maybe you should take a little bit of time and sit with us and think about it. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do that. So I remember, and I kind of got into meditation around that time too. So I remember like, okay, I'm gonna sit on this, I'll meditate on it. And I got real quiet. I'm in my room by myself, and I block out everybody and everything. And I basically like wipe my mind, blank, and I'm quiet. And I ask myself as in that quiet, right? I allow the question to surface. Should I do this program with Liz? And I don't get any response right away. So I sit with it a little longer, and I ask again. I continue to ask. I repeat the question. And eventually I feel something rise to my left. And it's like, no. And I'm like, ask again. Same spot, same feeling, same distance away from me. No. And so my mind starts to fight my gut and starts to try to rationalize. But this is the thing. They're going to give you A, B, and C. You're going to have clarity. This is the right thing. You should do it. No. I feel it and I know it. So I go with my gut. And now I know with absolute certainty, like that was the best decision. But at the time, I was still pretty new to cultivating that intuition. And although I went with my gut, there was still a little bit of like doubt, Over the years, though, I have cultivated that intuition and used that same method and that same strategy for making pretty much all my decisions, especially my big decisions. Not like I stand there in the grocery store and go, which brand of cereal do I want? No, but like, especially the big decisions around, especially around my career moves, around my relationships, around personal decisions for myself. Like I've used this to navigate, career choices. I used it when I needed to move out of my parents' house and I didn't even have a job and have an income, but I knew it was the right thing to do. Every relationship I've ever been in, I knew like I knew instinctively and intuitively like that when it was time to go and it was time to leave. And so over the years, I've really strengthened that. And I've started to recognize the ways in which I understand what's a no for me and what's a yes. And for me personally, like I mentioned earlier, the no always comes to my left and it's always right around here, right? And and the yes always comes to my right. Yeah. And whatever it is, yes or a no, whatever it is, it's always close. Now I can see the letters, you know? Um, but the opposite answer is typically further away. It feels far away. It's usually in the distance. It's very small. And so I come to understand like what and how to listen to my inner voice. And now I can do that with a lot more clarity. I can do it a lot faster. And I don't need to always go into that meditative deep state, although it helps and I still love to do it. I can now recognize those impulse in that feeling, whether if I just take a second during the day and just kind of pause and turn inward, I can recognize what my intuition is saying because I've cultivated and I've flexed that muscle so many times. And what that's allowed me to do is make decisions, like I said, faster, with more clarity, and with more alignment to what's right for me. Right. And yes, I might zigzag, and I might shift to this and to that thing and to that thing. And people might say, well, why are you moving all the time? Like what's going on? But I know that as I zigzag, no matter what, I'm still going forward and moving in alignment with what's right for me and my life and my values. And listening to my gut, cultivating that intuition has allowed me to trust myself and to have faith in my ability to make those decisions and have more peace with those decisions. Not to say that they aren't still uncertain and a little bit scary when you're making that choice and you're following that instinct, but I have more peace because I can look back and know throughout my life that my intuition has never steered me wrong. That has always moved me in the right direction and it always has my best interests at heart. And when we learn to listen and cultivate that inner knowing, then we can make decisions that are more aligned with our true self and our core self, not based on what anyone else expects the right thing to be, what society's definition of success looks like, what your friends or your mom's definition of what a good relationship looks like. It's down to what you believe is right for you. There's no one way that fits everybody. You have to figure out what's best for you, because when you look back at your life, you want to know that you lived it for what was right for you and for yourself, and not because of what somebody else said, not because of what, random Harry and Sally, why did I say that? Whatever their advice is, like you need to figure out what you want for you so you can make decisions that are aligned with you. And when you do that, you will be a lot happier. Your quality of life will go up. You will feel that you are truly expressing yourself in your truest form and in your most genuine way. And that in itself is what lends itself to you being happy. And I know it sounds simple, but it really does come down to that. So what I recommend is to find your way of cultivating your inner knowing. It might be similar to mine. Get real quiet, turn inward, and start to recognize look for maybe your body cues. Like when you feel that something is right, what is actually, observe what is happening in your body that lets you know that feels right. And when something feels wrong, what's coming up. Right? And start to distinguish between the two. And then over time, continue to come back to that and come back to that and strengthen that and pay attention to the right or the wrong for you, right? And what's a yes and what's a no. And over time, that will become stronger, louder, clearer, and you will more quickly make those decisions, which will allow you to be more aligned with you and what you want, which will ultimately allow you to live your life on your terms, which will make you a lot happier. And that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.